book. You know, David actually does make a good point. This is my 10th book. Books are part of how I fight. And this is a book that I tried to write to draw in more people, because our fight can't just be our talking to each other. We have got to draw more people into it. And so that's what it's about. It is a book written of gratitude, gratitude to my parents, who never had much, but who always believed their kids were going to do better than they did, and gratitude to an America that invested in kids like me. That's the kind of America I want to see us be again. I believe in that. Now, I understand you spent much of the day talking about populism, which I think of as the power of people to change the country. This is something I believe in deeply. In 2009, I was fighting hard for a consumer financial agency that would help level the playing field for families, basically by preventing big banks from pushing people around, from tricking them on credit cards and mortgages and payday loans. Damon was actually one of those. In fact, many people in this room were involved in that fight. And you may remember that the biggest financial institutions were, I was going to say unenthusiastic about this consumer agency. How about dead set opposed? And we're spending more than $1 million a day for more than a year in order to block financial reforms generally and the consumer agency in particular. That was the targeted one. But we were able to fight back. We were able to fight back because of people like you, people across this country who said, I am in this fight too. And because enough people got involved in this fight, we won. We got a good, strong Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. We got it passed through Congress, signed into law. Who thought, gee, I never thought I'd be dorky enough to be applauding the creation of a government agency. Let me just tell you just one little fact about that Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. It's been up and operational for just a little over 2 years. It has already forced the largest financial institutions in this country to return $3.5 billion directly to American consumers that they cheated. That's an agency that works. And our uphill, against the odds, can't win battle for the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau wasn't unique. In every fight to build opportunity in this country, in every fight to level the playing field, in every fight for working families, the path has been steep. Throughout our history, powerful interests have tried to capture Washington and rig the system in their favor. From tax policy to retirement security, the voices of hardworking people get drowned out by powerful industries and well-financed front groups. Those with the power to fight make sure that every rule tilts in their favor, and everyone else just gets left behind. Just look at the big banks. They cheated American families, crashed the economy, got bailed out, and now the 6 largest banks are 38% bigger than they were in 2008 when they were too big to fail. They still swagger through Washington, blocking reforms and pushing around agencies. A kid gets caught with a few ounces of pot and goes to jail. But a big bank breaks the law on laundering drug money or manipulating currency, and no one even gets arrested. The game is rigged, and it's not right. And it's not just the big banks. Look at the choices the federal government makes today. Our college kids are getting crushed by student loan debt. We need to rebuild roads and bridges and upgrade our power grid. We need more investment in medical research and scientific research. But instead of building a future, this country is bleeding billions of dollars in tax loopholes and subsidies that go to rich and powerful corporations. Many Fortune 500 companies, profitable companies, pay zero in taxes. Billionaires get so many tax loopholes that they pay lower tax rates than their secretaries. But they have lobbyists. Lobbyists, lawyers, and Republican friends to protect every loophole and every privilege they have. The game is rigged, and it isn't right. The game is rigged. Look at what happens with trade deals. Big corporations, God, for big corporations, trade agreement time must feel like Christmas morning. Well, think about it. They get special gifts they could never pass through Congress out in public. Because it's a trade deal, the negotiations are secret, and big corporations can work behind closed doors. And we've seen what happens here at home when our trading partners around the world are allowed to ignore workers' rights and environmental rules. From what I hear, Wall Street, pharmaceuticals, telecom, big polluters, and outsourcers are all salivating at the chance to rig the upcoming trade deals in their favor. Now, why are trade deals secret? I've heard supporters of these deals actually explain that they have to be secret because if the American people knew what was in them, they would be opposed. Think about that. If real people, people whose jobs are at stake, small business owners who don't want to compete with overseas companies that dump waste in the river and hire workers for $1 a day, those people, people without armies of lobbyists, would be opposed. Well, I believe that if people across this country would be opposed to a trade deal, then that trade deal should not become law. The tilt in the playing field is obvious everywhere. When conservatives talk about opportunity, they mean opportunities for the rich to get richer and for the powerful to get more powerful. They don't mean opportunities for a young person facing $100,000 in student loan debt to start a life, for someone out of work to get back on his feet, or for someone who worked hard all her life to retire with dignity. The game is rigged. The rich and the powerful have lobbyists. Lobbyists and lawyers and plenty of friends in Congress. Everyone else? Not so much. Well, we can whine about it, we can whimper about it, or we can fight back. Me, I've decided I'm fighting back. This is a fight over economics, over privilege, over power, but deep down, this is a fight over values. Conservatives and their powerful friends will continue to be guided by their age-old principle. I got mine, the rest of you are on your own. But we're guided by principle too. It's a simple idea. We all do better when we work together and invest in the future. We know that the economy grows when hardworking families have the opportunity to improve their lives. We know that the country gets stronger when we invest in helping people succeed. We know that lives improve when we care for our neighbors and help build a future, not just for some of our kids, but for all of our kids. These are progressive values. These are America's values. These values play out every day. These values are what we're willing to fight for. So, Let's go over the list one more time, and I want to hear a good, strong amen out there. We believe that Wall Street needs stronger rules and tougher enforcement, and we're willing to fight for it. We're willing to We believe no one should work full-time and still live in poverty, and that means we believe that people should retire with dignity, and that means strengthening Social Security, and we're willing to fight for it. We believe that a kid should have a chance to go to college without getting crushed by debt, and we're willing to fight for it. Oh, we believe that workers have a right to come together, to bargain together, and to rebuild America's middle class, and we're willing to fight for it. We believe, and I can't believe I have to be saying this in 2014, we believe in equal pay for equal work. That equal means equal, and that's true in the workplace and in marriage. It is true for all of our families, and we are willing to fight. This is how I see it. We, the people, decide the future of this country. These are our shared values, and these are the values we are willing to fight for. This is our moment in history. We are called on to determine the future of this country. And if we stand by and let it slide away, then shame on us. But if we get up and we fight for what we believe in, we will head this country in the right direction for ourselves, for our children, and for our grandchildren. I hope we're ready to fight.